Good morning, everybody. The being that affected and had a significant impact on my life never spoke a word. Her name was Sadie, and she was a German short-haired pointer and Dalmatian mix. When Sadie entered my life, I was 13 at the time, struggling with who I was, where I went, where I belonged, and how to get there. During the time we shared, I grew older. Her spirit was so inspiring that they provided basic building blocks of how I wish to live. Sadie taught me to live positively, show your love for your family, and how to obtain a goal. Once I heard that dogs live in the moment, and I believe that. Making the best out of each moment included the time Sadie was packed up and given to strangers to begin a life away from the family who once cared for her. My father had worked with a lady who was looking for a home for her dog. Apparently her husband spent more time playing with Sadie than with his two preschool daughters, so Sadie had to go. We already had a dog about the same age, and her name was Lucky. She was a shy and nervous dog. On the night that my dad brought Sadie home, she arrived head held high, her body waving back and forth as her tail wiggled full speed, and her wet tongue extended ready to lick anyone that she managed to reach. She seemed delighted to be where she happened to be. She went over to see Lucky, but sensed fright and quickly returned to the attentive humans that were making a fuss over her. Sadie did love attention. Days became weeks, and weeks turned into months as Sadie settled into the routines of her new family. Never during this time did Sadie ever look sad, out of place, or wanted to leave. She handled her new family life in the mannerism she greeted each day, with a lot of energy and passion. It was if the dog thought, this is my new life, and I'll make the most of it. Sadie never had a bad day. She had a positive attitude about everything. Sadie showed the same degree of excitement of walking on the same trail in the park as she did with the new one. Maybe a new piece of trash or smell she missed the day before. She never pouted if it was raining, sunny, or snowing out. Each day brought something new and exciting. If a stranger ignored her, she moved on and eventually found someone who would say hello. If I couldn't play with her, she would retreat and try again later. Forget to fill her water dish, that's okay, it's filled now. A visit to the vet was just a place where she could share friendship. Sadie was surely a champion of love, especially towards her family. Family was important to Sadie. After all, dogs are social animals, descendants of wolves. A lot of Sadie's displays of affection and loyalty can be traced back to the fact, but others can't. For instance, when a family member came in the door, Sadie was always there to greet them. Depending upon how long they shared, her display of excitement welcoming a member home could be gauged. If she really loved you, you would get jumped on and almost attacked in order for her to plant a big kiss on your face. Tail wagging along with her entire body, Sadie followed until you greeted her back. Kissing is the universal sign of affection, and if Sadie happened to have access to bare skin, she was licking you. Then there was the soulful way she would look at you not pausing. She was a wizard at reading emotions. And if someone was in distress, Sadie was there gently placing a paw on your leg or would curl up at your feet. It was as if she wanted you to know that she was there for you. Following members around was a common trait, how Sadie showed interest in each member. After all, Sadie depended upon her family unit for guidance, approval, companionship, love, and her basic physical needs. Driven to have these needs met, Sadie succeeded with the use of concentration and perseverance. Did you ever consume something in front of a dog and have them watch you eat it? Their ability to just focus on the food is unbelievable. They don't flinch. Sometimes they even salivate in anticipation if you don't cave in and eat the whole thing yourself. The dog continued. That is powerful concentration. Sadie did that, but I always gave in and would give her a taste. Perhaps this impulse control, along with her ability to focus, is why Sadie arrived, knowing so many tricks. Her perseverance to get something she wanted never faltered. She could be distracted, but she always completed her goal. For instance, Sadie had the desire to play in the woods freely on multiple occasions. Knowing this, you could stop her for a few days, but when you least expected it, off she went. She was a great hunter. Squirrels, raccoons, rabbits, moles, and even a bat once were no match for her determination. You may wonder how I could relate the simple life of a dog to the complicated life of a human. Perhaps our lives have become so complex that we have lost our way to happiness. I looked at the stressed out adults in my life and wondered, is there a way we are supposed to live? When I observed the life of Sadie, I discovered what I believe is a back to the basic approach to living wisely. Sadie lived in the moment. For her, and there was no past, no present, no future, only now. In other words, there were no worries about the past or the future. The now was fantastic and positive. Loving your family is one thing, but showing your love to them is another. Showing your family appreciation and value should be a big part of life. Goals are an important part of life. Sadie reminded me that desires are significant, but more important is that you should enjoy the time spent obtaining these goals. If it was not hanging out the car window or visiting the people in the neighborhood, Sadie was having fun. In conclusion, some believe that we are put on earth to learn the proper way to live. Perhaps the reason that the lifespan of a dog is much shorter than humans is because a dog already knows the right way to live.